Hey there, how's it going? This is Brookes with Character Design Forge. The human head and face are some of the most important things to learn how to draw, especially if you want to be creating your own characters. But there's a few mistakes that I see crop up a lot, especially in beginners' artwork, including a few things that I've wrestled with and struggled with in the last few years. Now, I'm going to show you what these mistakes are, but I'm also going to show you how to fix them. And I'm going to be doing so in a semi-realistic proportion, so a kind of realistic head and skull, but keep in mind that you can always learn these things and then boil them down to the style that you are familiar with. The first mistake is that the head is not a sphere, not exclusively at least. Remember that the head is somewhat spherical, but it's also oblong. And for as round as the head is, it's important to keep in mind what sharp angles it has as well. Now, if the head was only a sphere, the parts of the face that would include is probably only the eyes and maybe the cheeks. What I see a lot of artists doing is forgetting about the jaw. The jaw is a largely square addition to the bottom front of the head. It can be helpful to make a line down the middle of that initial sphere from the side, and build the jaw out from there. Depending on how strong a person's jaw is, the angle and size of the jaw will vary, but everyone's head has this. Sometimes we may think that because someone has a round-looking face or even head, that means that their head must be spherical, like say a young child or baby, a person of Asian descent, or Carl Pilkington or Lauren Mayberry. But nope, they all still have a jaw, so please give them one. This also means that from the front, a realistic human face will be taller than it is wide, even if that difference is really subtle. When making chibi characters, a small, round jaw protruding off the front of a sphere makes all the difference. The second mistake has to do with eyes. Now, eyes are spheres, eyeballs, and they're recessed into our heads in an area that we call sockets. This has a lot of ramifications. I'm including a lot of eye-related mistakes in this, but first of all, eyes are never square. If a stylized eye, say like an anime one, appears to be square, that's because the lids and cheeks around the eye are affecting the shape of it. It's important for us to know the original nature of the eye before we go stylizing it. I tend to see a lot of beginners make this innately square anime eye instead of one that's affected by the face around it, and it tends to look pretty unnatural. Let's take a look at the socket and the lids. Feel free to search your own face with your finger to find the cheekbones and the brow and socket around your eye. The shape and size is a little different for everyone, but the bone is the same. These bones are protecting your eyes, which are, again, recessed behind them. Now, the shape of the sockets makes a domino mask, like the one that the Incredibles wear. With any prominent bridge of the nose, the far eye in a 3/4 view will start to be partially hidden. And with a nose like mine, that's pretty easy to do. See? This corner of my eye is no longer visible to you. Remember though that the face and skull are round looking from the top down, which means as the socket wraps around our face, our eyes become visible from the side. So what do eyelids look like in profile? Basically, they're making this triangular shape that lets us see the side of the eyeball. You can still stylize this a bit and make it larger for larger eyes, but remember the source. Remember that however much surface of the eye you're showing, that eyeball is still a sphere, so make the surface curved. Let's talk about mistake number 3. In our first mistake, we talked about making the head taller through the addition of the jaw. Now, we want to make the head wider in profile through 2 additions. The mistake I tend to see is people making the face flat, straight up and down, or the entirety of the head not being deep enough. First, we want to account for the fact that from the top, the head is kind of an oval. So if the face and jaw are coming off the front of the head, there's going to be a big round bit of skull coming out of the back of the head. A lot of times this gets covered up with hair or a strong neck, but just remember there's not a straight line down that connects immediately to the neck, there's a protrusion. The addition of the jaw also pushes the boundaries of the face not only down, but forward as well. Not just the nose, but typically the teeth and mouth are going to be further forward than the eye sockets. Sometimes this is simplified in a large swooping shape, but remember that this isn't just representing the nose, it's the whole jaw. The head can be a difficult thing to understand. I'd recommend drawing the things that you're studying in detail first before trying to immediately simplify them. Remember that the mark of a good character designer is someone who understands their source material and knows the right things to simplify. In other words, the right details to leave out. If any of these things are difficult for you at first, remember not to get too frustrated with yourself. Remember that learning and improving your art is a long journey, one that's benefited by having some patience. If you keep patience and a willingness to improve close to you, I know that you're going to do great things. If this or any of my videos have helped you, please consider helping me in return. You can go to patreon.com/bageldenizen and support the channel, and also at the Novice Bard tier get a personalized video critique of your work that helps you level up your skills. You can also follow me on other platforms at bageldenizen on Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch. Thank you so much for watching, and have fun creating!